Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now, here's Jay.
Now here's Jay. Sean, is that part pre-recorded, or you don't want to tell anybody? You do it so perfect each time.
That's pre-recorded.
Okay. Probably that answer was too, huh? Anyway, that was Sean, our engineer. This is Jay Kaplan, and welcome to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET, the Mighty Met, 1490 AM, where we contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for said retirement and how to best stay happily retired. Now, we're going to retire the year today, very soon. This is the 27th. How many fingers do I have? 29, 33. 5 more days will be a new year. So this is our last show of this year. So let me wish everyone a happy, wonderful New Year, and I mean all of us, and I also mean all of the year. So hang on, and hopefully it won't go as fast as this one did. Did this one seem to go fast for you, Sean?
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah, I think I said this on air once before. Sometimes I think I was told by a wise old somebody, but whoever it was, he was old, that years go by faster as we get older because in our mind, a year becomes a smaller unit. Now, I know mathematically that doesn't make a lot of sense. But then again, the only thing that I say that does make sense is talking about lending and reverse mortgages and HECMs. But what was told to me was that, when you're 1 year old, your whole life is 1 year. So therefore, the unit of a year is big. But when you're 80, it's split into 80 different smaller pieces. So a year is a smaller unit. So take that to the university or whatever, to your math teacher. Figure that one out. So I'm not retired. And I need a lot of guests. I need a lot of guests with answers. And Michael Siegel, hello. Wow, Randy, all right. So you can always put him on. You're in charge, Sean. Hello?
Hello. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. Just wanted to call and wish you a Happy New Year.
I'm glad you did. Yeah. It makes for a wonderful New Year's, and the more people that wish me and wish you a Happy New Year, the happier the New Year will be. That's a new rule.
That's a new rule. Okay, good.
Dr. Heckham rule for New Year's, which is now official because you heard it, right?
Hey,
so was Santa good for you? Do you?
Yeah, it's been real nice. Everybody's safe and sound. So.
That's
so
probably the best part.
Happy Hanukkah.
That's the best present, right?
Yep. Everybody's safe and sound. Hey,
good health.
Your guests.
Lots of coffee, cigars, and records. Right in that order.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to let you know I enjoyed your guest you had last week, the divorce attorney from Riverside.
Oh yeah.
They're very informative. So.
Yeah, I thought so, and I can invite her to a meeting or something, or more, because I think that's something that most people overlook, or they get so involved in their own divorce they forget that they're also dealing with their house and their finance too. So yeah. Let's leave those divorces for last year and go on to the next one. But she was very informative.
Yeah.
And any big plans for you? Anybody calls in, I'm going to ask maybe if they got any big plans for next year. Not New Year's resolutions. Those don't seem to work very much.
Yeah, no.
And Bob Slater is watching. Maybe he'll call in too.
Yeah, maybe Bob will call in. Okay, good. Yeah, I have all my platforms all laid out. I'm just going to be working my plan And since I've planned the work, I'm working the plans now. So I'm going up on Stockton the first of the month. I've got a reverse mortgage to go and do up there and take care of that client. And so I'll be gone the first and the second, and then get back here with the new limits that we have now. They're higher, and so they're now eligible to go ahead and take advantage of getting more money out of their reverse mortgage.
Well, you be safe on the road. Say hello to your family and make sure they're all doing well, and you also do well. So Happy New Year.
All right, thank you very much, and nice talking to you.
Hey, now better talking to you, so we can start arguing now. And Bob Slater says Happy New Year to everybody, so I'll say Happy New Year back to Bob. So, I was saying I'm not retired, and who? Oh, well, put him on then. Omar.
Jay, what's going on, my man?
Well, just trying to wrap up the old year and bring on a great new year. So,
I'm excited. I've never been on the radio before.
Well, this is big time. I'm very happy you are. It's not only radio, it's worldwide audio and video podcast, right, Sean? Sean's the engineer, so he's a good guy. Is. But Omar, thank you so much for calling in and wishing us a Happy New Year, and you too. Omar's got a great business going, and have the rest of the holidays been good for you?
They've been okay, man. They've been pretty good. We had a solid end of the year, and really excited about 2020 and what it has to bring. So we're motivated to make 2020 our best year yet.
And you have another gift coming too, right? When is he? Is it a she?
We actually don't know. So my wife is pregnant, but we do not know the sex of the baby yet. But that is due in March. So.
Oh, during my birthday time. So good. Now, are you going to find out the he or the she, or are you going to let it be a surprise?
You know what? We're close enough to where we may just want to let it be a surprise. So we're not quite sure.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah. Life needs to have as many surprises as possible.
Yeah.
So how's the rest of the crew over there?
We're doing well. Amir? We're doing well. Well, Amir's off, so he's on paternity leave. It feels like we're at that age where, one by one, we're going to start going down as far. But Amir just had a baby. We're all around that same age, in our late 20s, early 30s, where we got to start thinking about having kids if we want kids at all. So, Amir
I was that age once. So don't think you'll be there forever.
Yeah.
But every age has something going for it. So you just gotta take your time to, as they say, smell the roses and enjoy the day you're in.
Yeah.
So thank you very much again.
No, my pleasure.
Say hello to your wife and everybody else. And have a great New Year.
Excellent. All right, Jay, sounds good. Well, Happy New Year to you and yours, and Happy New Year, everyone listening and watching. Can't wait to see the playback.
You will. Okay, take care of yourself.
Take care, Jay. Bye-bye.
Okay. So I think it's almost break time, but I'll go ahead and finish the one sentence I was starting, and that I'm not retired, but I need your help. So call me, 866-955-2233. 866-955-2233. It's okay. You can put it off a little. You can call me next year if you like. So, or just visit theeducatedretirement.com or drheckham.com. That's www.drhecm.com. And check out everything there, including the blog, which has got all kinds of good stuff on it. So, I think, Sean, I'm running a little late, so maybe not too bad. So I'll hand it over to you, and we'll talk to everyone in just a couple of minutes again. Thanks.
Knowing that you would have wanted it this
All right, good stuff. I should just let it play, but we'll have more time for that. We were talking about my website, drhecm.com, or www.theeducatedretirementradio.com, and just in case you need a visual help, there it is. And halfway down, you'll see a button, one to watch this show. You can also watch the show on KMET 1490am.com and download their app also for anybody that's here on the show. And also there's a button that takes you over to the YouTube channel that has all these shows, bits and pieces of the show. And, just those parts separated of the guests when we have those. So you don't have to listen to me. So I do want more of your questions, your input, and ideas as to subjects to talk about, be it the heck'em, or anything else that affects all of us. So we need to talk about how to enjoy ourselves and improve ourselves. So today is actually National Visit the Zoo Day. Now, you guys are exempt because you are looking at me. It's kind of like being at the zoo, right, Kathleen? Kathleen's my wife, who is afraid to be seen. And anyway, and you're visiting me, so that's that. Yeah. The first actual zoo, just so you know, to educate and entertain was opened in London in 1828. Seems to me like it should have been earlier than that, but maybe they were different kinds of zoos. Who knows? And I know you've been waiting, but, this seems odd to have this after Christmas. National Fruit Cake Day. I remember when I was a kid, I'd be so disappointed to see Aunt this or Auntie that bring over a fruit cake. Or when you went to visit somebody. Does this ever happen to you, Sean? Do you ever get fruit cake? We're going to visit somebody. Oh, we forgot to bring something, so you'd stop at the store and pick up a fruit cake. Now, of course, we have a better translation of what a fruit cake is, and that's what we call each other when we're a little less than, excited about each other. I do like cake and I like fruit. I don't know why I don't like fruit cake, but it has those weird little green things in it. What are those green things? Does anybody know?
I thought they were cherries. But,
candied fruit. It's candied fruit.
Oh, candied fruit.
Yeah.
Okay. So that too could be a nice way to describe somebody, right? You candied fruit, you. But anyway, make sure that, again, you look at that website, drhecm.com, and contact me. Let's talk about what makes life better. And, you'll never know about the reverse mortgage unless, of course, you know about it. I had a really, really great talk with a woman this morning at her home. It's kind of a far out there for me, but she was completely against it, and now she's doing one. But she has so many good stories to tell. We don't have time for all the stories that she told, but I certainly enjoyed being there. And as far as people's birthdays are concerned, it is Sidney Greenstreet. You remember Sidney Greenstreet?
I do not.
Well, you might when you... This is his first film. Now, he was the fat guy. I'm not going to say the guy that looked like me, but he was the portly feller, okay? The portly feller that was in this. And this DVD set, has 3 different versions. And believe it or not, the one with Bogart was the 3rd version. So, worth looking into. And Sidney was born in England, and at 18 he went to Ceylon, which we call Sri Lanka, as a tea planter. Not sure how somebody that, quote, portly could bend over and plant teas. I don't think he did it by hand. But he did, of course, he was able to give a lot of natural shade that way. So he went back to England after a drought and managed a brewery, which he looks perfect for, and eventually took up some acting lessons. And his first movie was Maltese Falcon, where he played Casper Gutman, which was followed by this film in short order, Casablanca, again, another laser disc, and then he made the character Nero Wolfe famous on radio for just 2 years, 1950 and 51. And I do remember the name Nero Wolfe, but I don't remember too much about it. And it was written by Rex Stout. Speaking of beer, Rex Stout is said to be the best mystery writer of the century, the 20th century, that is. Nero Wolfe had an assistant named Archie Goodwin, and William Conrad played the portly detective, Wolfe, coining the phrase armchair detective. So he would rather eat and tend to his orchids than run after bad guys. So food and orchids were Rex Stout's loves in real life, and that is cooking and orchards. So he was, or kids. So he was known as a gourmet cook. I am known as anything, including gourmet eater. So Archie was the brawn while Hugo sat and ate, and Hugo was the eater while Rex was the chef. So real quick, we spoke of seeing William Conrad in a long overcoat at Musso and Frank while dining and talking reverse mortgages with Orson Welles a few weeks ago. We were also, remember, Sean, you might, the one listener that wanted to know about John's Grill, which was featured in Maltese Falcon, and we talked a little bit about that too. We've got another birthday or so, but I think we better wait until the sponsors say, oh, what am I supposed to say, Kathleen? Oh, do you remember this, Sean? Are you old enough to have ever announced station identification? We'll give a break now so that there can be a station identification. Take it away. I'm just taking an extra few seconds here to put on my doctor's uniform. There, what do you think? Much better now. Let's see how you're doing here. Yeah, I think you're okay. I think you're okay. Now, I'm gonna take this little pen and write you a prescription. That prescription is for education. After all, knowledge is power, and www.drhecm, drheckham.com, or The Educated Retirement. Oh, here's my, let's take a look at these x-rays. Huh? What do you think? Huh? Okay. Very good. Now, we were talking about birthdays, and it's not mine. It is the year's birthday coming up, but Marlene Dietrich was born on this day in 1901, and she She gained her wings in 1992. And she was an accomplished violinist who started her career by playing soundtracks for silent films. So she probably was up front by the movies, and more people probably looking at her than the movies, so she got into the movies. The one I remember was a little bit, I don't have anything on it, was that with Charles Lawton and Tyrone Power, the Billy Wilder production of, or, direction of Witness for the Prosecution. Did you ever see that, Sean?
No, I sure didn't.
Yeah, I would highly recommend it. It's got a surprise ending. They even told you at the end of the movie, somebody stood up on stage. It was in the film and told you not to reveal the ending. So figure that one out. Touch of it, but those were the days when everybody went to the movies and it didn't really matter whether it was the beginning. Do you remember those, Kathleen? Was that kind of like that with you? You went with your friends. It was a double feature. You just went whenever. You watch the end of that, then the next one, cartoons, coming attractions, and then you watch the beginning of the one you started with. How about Touch of Evil? Do you remember that one, Sean?
No, can't say I do.
This is a real masterpiece, I think. Well, Witness for the Prosecution is too, but Touch of Evil was amazing. Touch of Evil is one of those noir things that, look at that picture of Orson Welles. This is after lunch at Musso and Frank's, but it's very, very, very dark, and it was also directed by Orson Welles, which I think made it one of the most fantastic of that type of film ever done. So there, and so let's see, Touch of Evil. And Oscar Levant. Oscar. You remember Oscar Levant? I'm talking to a kid, I guess. I wish I were a kid, so don't get all excited about that. I'm not worried about it. Oscar Levant was born in 1906, and he earned his wings in 1992, a pianist who made a name for himself just by being a friend of George Gershwin and putting on comic-related skits on stage, and a game show host too. So he was an accomplished pianist, but he was also like a Paris Hilton type that was just, and the Kardashian type where he was just, so don't think that's something that only came in this generation. He was that type of, I'm a celebrity and here I am. So he composed the music, though, for more than 20 movies, and popular songs that were on the hit parade. Now, Sean, you're probably too young for that, but the hit parade goes back to station identification days. And the first movie that he was in, Oscar, was Romance on the High Seas from 1948. I really like that movie. I've seen it many, many times. It was also the very first movie for Doris Day. So it was supposed to be called Romance on the High Seas, like the music, High C. Very funny. Anyway, like the music note or the chord, and directed by Michael Curtiz, who seems like he directed everything that ever came out of Warner Brothers, including Casablanca, which I think I showed you already today. So I won't show it to you again. But with that, we are at about the halfway, or a little past the halfway mark. But we have a few things about this day in history. So I'm going to go on a little because I'm not sure about our guest. Who? Oh, we do have a guest. All right. So I'm going to say real quick, I'm going to race through this, and then we'll be with Cynthia real soon. On this day in history, Knots Landing was released on this day from 1979 to 1933. I hated it. I remember being on the floor with my earphones on, listening to music when my wife had to see that. So producers liked the concept of it, but did not think it had enough pizzazz. So they took the same idea and created Dallas instead. And after seeing the success of Dallas, they went ahead with Knots Landing, or Snots Landing, as I called it. And in 1951, African Queen was premiered. So how do you like that? And it was Katharine Hepburn's very first movie. And I like this part. I just didn't, I don't know why I haven't realized this before, but Disney used the premise for the Jungle Cruise in Adventureland. And also, just to let you know, that, if I could find this again, but I kind of lost it. Well, that's all right. What was that about Ajax and
Marlena Dietrich was called.
Oh, it was Marlena Dietrich that was called what? The Queen of Ajax. Now, Ajax may be a little old for you also, but that was a cleanser. So she had the same kind of disease that, what's his name? The aviator. Who is it? Howard Hughes had. So, she also, African Queen. So The Exorcist also that year was the first horror movie to ever be nominated for a Best Movie Academy Award with 10 nominations. And did you know the first choice for the priest was actually Marlon Brando? And can you imagine that? Anyway, Mercedes McCambridge, who we now know because she wasn't given credit at the time, was the voice of the demon. And I'm told she chain smoked a lot and drank a lot of extra, not just whiskey, but extra whiskey to prepare for that voice. And I guess she kicked off right after. No, I have no idea. Anyway, I'm going to now say goodbye and see you soon, not next year, but in about 2 or 3 minutes with our very, very fine guest. So take care. Some pretty healthy sweet. Who is that? Do you know? Oh, okay. Good old Standby Glenn. Now, I will get off this subject in a moment, but we were talking about The Exorcist, and here is my little lobby card signed by Linda Blair. Is that her name? That was her name. Yeah. See how old I am? I forget these things. Anyway, let me say goodbye to Facebook here because we won't have the other side of the conversation. Happy New Year. And I should sign off with my favorite joke of the year from I Get No Respect. When I was young, I had a lot of pimples. I remember one day I fell asleep in the library and woke up later to find a blind man reading my face. At least I said it straightforward that time without breaking up first time. Thank you, Rodney. Thank you so much, Sean, Cynthia. Sean, Happy New Year. And everybody else out there, thank you so much for a great year, and let's look forward to the next. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Educated Retirement Show with Jay Kaplan. Tune in every Friday at